Chat, what phobie would I be? You know, there are no... Wait, does Yeti have a beard? Does Yeti have a beard? Are there any bearded phobies? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday night, and of course, playing some Phobies. So let's see what we can get up to tonight, chat. I have some viewer game reviews that we got to get through. Make sure that we actually get them done. And we'll see how many games we get in tonight. I have to make sure that we end on time tonight, chat. Just so people know, in case they're curious, my methodology for editing the videos is, you know, I have the criteria for what pieces I'm going to keep and what pieces I'm going to excise. But basically, I listen to the whole thing. Like, I watch the whole stream back. And then on top of it, obviously, there's time that has to be taken out. So I pause. All right, I'm doing these edits. I got to rearrange these things. Let me add some transitions in. Let me do this, blah, blah, blah. Play around with it. Obviously, there aren't too many transitions or extra graphics or anything like that. But it's just like, if I do a 6-hour stream, even at 2 times speed, it's probably going to take me over 6 hours to listen to / watch the whole thing and then do all the edits. Now, that also doesn't account for afterwards. I got to render it, but obviously I can just kick it off and render it and go do something else. But it's just a lot of time. Hot Feet, welcome. Welcome. So, yeah, we're going to jump in, starting out with some game reviews, chat. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future. So look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. Alright, so we got a Hypereat game. We're going up against Rarity, so this ought to be a really strong game. The notes from this, let's see, where are they? The new map Phobos is really hard for the second player, but after a few games, I found out that Alistor opening is really good on that map, and I used it against one of the top players, Rarity, and it was intense, but still managed to come back. So, we get... Can be gnomes and or bards in BG. Oh, Baldur's Gate? I had to think about it for a second, Luffy. So yeah, we get the Alistor opening. The opening from Rarity is fairly standard on this map. Pretty much everybody goes Cat and Snowball into, or one drop and Snowball into Ginseng. This is interesting. Like, what level is Hypereat's? It's a level 8 Alistor. So the cat goes down, which allows a hit to go onto the Snowball, which is relevant because now it could die to a follow-up Fireball later on. What is the actual ability called? Shish Kebab. Fair. Honestly, I feel like we must have read that off before and I forgot about it. But this, I mean... Alistor is not an option for many players, let alone an Alistor that's of appropriate level. You know, for example, if I open an Alistor at the end of the season, it's like, great. I still need to level it before it's even going to be remotely relevant. But even with the nerf here, it is able to, you know, help clear up the middle. It is flying, so that means it can just slide up here and get back in the fray pretty quickly. But Rarity still has control of the center point. Is actually, this is really aggressive. Although with the body block here from Contortio, that means that Primate number 9, which is something that seems to actually have a pretty solid place on this map, because it's a bigger cassowary, it allows for the Primate to actually get something done and survive. Yes, they're doing the same amount of damage, but it requires more effort from your opponent as opposed to just, oh yeah, oops, I'll kill it kind of thing. Rarity doing the same thing to me on Opticon and Async at the moment, literally the exact same order of Phobies and pushing hard. These Phobies can absolutely bully. They can absolutely bully. But yeah, the block here from Contortio prevented the Primate from actually getting a leap on, which means that leap should still be available. Yep. Just want to make sure I didn't miss it. The Fireball here, I think, was pretty clutch because it allows for the capture of this point. Obviously, you need to retreat the Primate as well. Now, the Primate's in somewhat of an aggressive position here because, and so is the Inoculus, because both of them can get yoinked by this spider. I found a way to start decently proceeds by using first Phobies and Ultra Rare, so this is actually worthy of a pause to talk about. But I'm glad you brought it up, Akune, because I talk about the Phobies economy, it feels like, constantly. But this is a very relevant thing. And you know what? I'm going to come back to that and break it out after the game review. Remind me, chat. I'm making a note. I'm making a note because I really do want to get this point out there, but I feel like it'll get lost in the game review. So we'll come back to it. So anyway, we get the sludge monster coming out. It looks like it's a yoink down on the Primate. I guess the assumption here is that the Inoculus is fragile enough that it can just die later on, or they just didn't want to expose the spider to dying, but the spider probably dies here no matter what. This is a level 7 Inoculus, by the way. Wait, how much damage is it doing? 472. That's not bad. Certainly better than mine. There are definitely times where I'm... Oh, do they just kill Inoculus? Oh, that's why they didn't do it. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I mean, that works. This seems like a horrendous position for Hypereat. I have to imagine that Ryuichi makes a pretty egregious error at some point. So do we get like a challenge play thing going on here? No, we don't. That's probably a dead Ginsting. Yep. So Ginsting traded for Inoculus and Primate. Well, it's Ginsting and Snowball for Inoculus and Primate. I don't think Alistor's done anything at the moment. Not yet. So the Alistor early on, I didn't mind it. The mobility is important, and I think it was worth trying to cap this point, but this is the problem I've run into on this map when I've opened Snowball going second and be like, oh, well, I cap this point, right? You know, you go Gravedigger, you cap this point. That's kind of become the de facto second player opener. But then if you swing it to the north, it takes it out of play for a turn. Because then you have to swing it back in, and then it's ready to go. And by that point, your opponent has reinforced to the center. And that's kind of what happened with this Alistor, is that it's just not able to, and to be honest, it might die here. Kind of trapped up here. It's hard to kill Alistor. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ryuichi probably could have ignored the Alistor, because it's effectively... This is something that you have to also consider, especially on big maps. Time. There is a time component in the game because you have to travel. And the fact of the matter is if this Alistor is up here and all the fight's taking place down here, just like the Snowball example I was giving, you have to swing it back in. And by the time it comes in, who cares? Like, the game may be over. Yes, it can dick around capping points up here, but if I'm annihilating your entire army in the center, does it matter? Now, since Ryuichi, and this may be the glaring error, Ryuichi has split off Stairmaster and Quagmire in order to try and fight this thing. It's probably not slippery enough to get away, but this is, you know, 10 keys to deal with a 6 key. That's not too bad, but those are keys that can't fight here in the center. And now, all of a sudden, like, this doesn't look like an insurmountable position with this. Possibly. We'll have to see. By chasing that Alistor, Ryuichi took away Quagmire's Stairmaster from the middle. Exactly, Akune. That's exactly what I'm saying. So we do get the break here. I meant to call this out, but I kind of figured this was going to happen. Which allows for a free takedown. Like, this is a cool play. It's worth rewinding. So from here, it's very easy to feel safe. Yes, Stairmaster's made of paper, but Get a hit here from Stabby going down. The Gravedigger play. And then the advance plus the Alistor. And now the Alistor's safe again. It's because people are afraid of Alistor, and this is what... I don't know. Like, it's weird to say... And I'm not... Don't take this as me jumping on you, Kune. It's weird to say that Ryuichi would be afraid of the Alistor. I can understand just saying, oh, well, my opponent has something isolated. I'll remove it so I don't have to worry about it. But... I just don't agree with this play, and I think this is the big misplay. Obviously, 5 keys go down here for free. Now it's the opposite, where the Quagmire is trapped, because it's not getting out of there alive. Or not likely. I mean, it'll take a few turns. But, that being said, Hypereat is on a clock. 4,200 and change health. That's still a decent amount. Still a decent amount. But we have a 4-2 panic point advantage, so the pressure's going to be back on. I can't believe it took so much damage to kill this Stabby. Y'all like 2 Spider-Man pointing at each other. Yeah, it seems like the discussion there, everybody's saying the same thing. Basically, which is kind of funny. Can this Quagmire even die? I mean, I was explaining it as everybody was also explaining it, so it's kind of funny. Wow, we get a Woolly Bully. Shout out to Dr. Traffic, his favorite. This is unfortunate. You get an easy takedown here with the Yoink. I don't know that the Jin Sting hit. Like, you could have done one hit and then put the Jin Sting where the Gravedigger is. But the Alistor is taking an absolute beating here. So what is this Woolly Bully going to do? Because it's going to be difficult to actually kill something this turn. Maybe the Quagmire. Yeah, the Quagmire is really low. So down that goes. The Alistor is at 1,100 health. It's 100% dead if Ryuichi wants it. So we get the kill on the boom. Definitely makes sense. Okay, so now the Alistor is not 100% dead. Because this Blinky is only going to do about 1,000 damage. Okay, it might still die. It should still die if Ryuichi stays. But all of a sudden, the armies are absolutely favoring Hypereat. You get the Alistor elimination, but you have a powered down Hevo, and like, that's it. The Blanky should go down shortly. There's no easy way for the Spider to get a Yoink kill. Because there isn't a way right now. And just like this, I mean, this was a great comeback. Ryuichi determined that Alistor gets MVP. True story. Alistor is a big game changer. Ryuichi failed in chasing it down. The game is already clear. What's funny is Alistor was the MVP and not from a meme perspective. Like, maybe this isn't what Luffy meant, but statistically, Alistor is going to be the MVP, right? But Alistor is the MVP because it did so much for our orange player. Like, it forced so much effort out of Ryuichi that it ultimately was the most valuable Phobie. Because it isn't always about just damage or capping panic points or anything, although those happen. It was a tempo battle. I want Alistor too, that 100% life leech with flight seems pretty good. Yeah, Alistor is one of the Phobies that people absolutely lose their minds over. Like, they get real upset about Alistor. I'm actually more impressed than Woolly Bully did. Like, Woolly Bully got 2 activations off this game, and they were both huge. I have to wonder, was Hypereat And Hypereat, if you see this on YouTube later, let me know in Discord, which, by the way, if you want to get your own games reviewed, hit up the Random Slots Discord. It'll be in the video description. But Hypereat, let me know if the Woolly Bully was really a core component of the strategy going in, like you really planned that, or was it simply you had 5 keys, you're gonna wing it and hope kind of thing? Because I think that Ryuichi's emphasis on the Alistor was absolutely what did them in, but the Woolly Bully was very important, and I don't know if there's another 5-cost Phobie that would have had the same impact in that board state. I want Alistor purely to fill in a 6-key unit that has flight. Honestly, Silver, I can see that. I can see that. So speaking of Alistor, this is more ultra rare related and just rarity related. This conversation commonly comes up in card games, and if you were around for the beginning of Hearthstone, I think that was a lot of people's awakening into this particular discussion, argument, whatever. Here's the thing. Rarity doesn't matter. That's going to sound weird, but I'm going to repeat it. Rarity doesn't matter. Here's the reason why. If you compare it to card games, and admittedly it's probably cheaper to build some, like a whole bunch of decks in some card games than it is in Phobies right now. Facts. But rarity should not impact power level. Just because something's rare or rarer or ultra rare or whatever doesn't mean that it shouldn't inherently be better. Now, a lot of things are, because it's easy to justify. Well, it takes a while to, like, you know, it's the business part of it. Is you got to invest in order to get the cool toys. But the better way to do it is make the mechanically complex abilities ultra rare. So things, instead of Alistor, things like Attractor, so that they don't show up as commonly in quote-unquote low-level games, as in low-stress level, low rank. The reason for that is because you don't want to overwhelm new players with either abilities or just, I've never seen this before, I don't know what to do. Onboarding is super important. Now, the other reason, and we could talk about onboarding for a while, and I have on many occasions, it's the most important thing for a game. Getting new people in the game and getting them to stick with the game. Now, beyond that, why else does rarity not matter? Eventually, we will all have these things. Unfortunately, due to the way that Phobies is set up, that may be pretty far down the road. But having a Alistor as, well, this is the thing that you need to do on this particular map. Hey, welcome back, Taco. If you need to do this particular thing, the game, from a general balance and strategy standpoint, should be built around the idea that you have a fully prepped collection, meaning that you have max level Alistor, or appropriate level Alistor, or you have appropriate level insert thing. That clashes immensely with reality. Don't get me wrong, because I can already hear all the YouTube comments, and feel free to drop them in there anyway. But the fact of the matter is that it's very difficult, and it's probably impossible to balance the game around two different scenarios. One where you have some amount of stuff, but it's all variable because everybody can have different collection levels. And another level where you have everything, and they're all at the appropriate one. The latter is fixed. The problem is that, again, the economy for Phobies is the big problem. It is very difficult to justify the time and the money to just collect everything, and I get it. I don't have a full collection. I'm not high enough stress level to even have unlocked all this stuff. And that's the part that sucks, because we are inherently, until we're all at max level and have a full collection, blah, 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 we're all inherently playing an unbalanced game. So anytime people complain about balance, or this should be buffed, this should be nerfed, this should be changed, this should be that, this should be this other thing, we're comparing like apples and bowling balls. Like, they're not even remotely in the same, like, are they roughly the same shape? Kinda, sorta, like, an apple is sort of round, you know, depending on the kind of apple, and then, like, a bowling ball is round, but, like, they're not the same thing. And that's the problem. And that's why I wanted to break this out, is just to go over that, because I feel like, like I said, it would get lost in the game review. But Alistor may be the appropriate opener going second on that map. I don't know. Does Phobies have a meta? Yes. It does to a degree. The thing is that there is literally no one in the game right now. We know this for a fact. There is literally no one in the game who has every single phobie. One. And two, I don't believe, this is not necessarily known for a fact, but I'm pretty sure, that no one has a full collection, ignoring the ones they don't have, of max level phobies. Rocket Man Yeti would be the perfect counter for what? For Alistor, or what are we talking about? No matter the stats, the plus 100 life leech is the only thing that elevates that phobia in the sky success. It's not the only thing. I mean, it is, right now, when it had the higher attack, it was a 2-range flying phobie with a decent attack. Like, it was good enough. If it didn't have life force, it would have had another ability, because otherwise, statistically, yes, it's very bad. But as it is now, yeah, I think it has to have life force unless there was some other broken ability on there. I don't know. Well, chat, we're zoning into Phobos once again. I'm telling you, the game reviews always come and go in clusters. So this is... I was going second on Phobos, and they had a smother mother. I'm still shocked on how I won. So, Taco here is opening with Primate, which, as mentioned in the previous game, I can kind of respect on this map as a larger cassowary here. Like, the weird thing is our blue player opened with just cassowary and nothing else. So this is also, like, this is all around strange. We're getting a fetch follow-up. They continually are sitting at 7 keys. The Primate on turn 1 meant that Taco can go to 7 keys. By the way, Taco's our hero in this case, in the orange trunks. But this is a dead cassowary. Like, this opener is just weird. I can respect the Slammerhead. As we've seen on many occasions, the fight for the center is intense, and boops here have the potential to be real big. But I am just flabbergasted to a degree on what is happening with this game right now. I don't understand why a lot of these things are happening. What is blue doing? That's what I'm questioning, Hot Feet. I don't quite get it. I'm not quite sold on this either. I guess this is 6. It's not quite going to be able to kill this. Never mind. So, although this could be a dead Blinky. It would be a dead Stairmaster for the Blinky. I don't know. Our blue player has had a very unique opener, which has led to a variety of weird things happening. Because now we have... It's basically the tables are flipped. Our orange player is in basically complete control of the center. But they also went heavy on melee. The only range character here is Murderwing, which makes this a little challenging because you can't just go, oh, I'll stick something on the stem and then light up whatever's in range. Now, I do like this. I do like the idea of dropping the cat on here. Clearly, it's going to die if they want it, but it prevents the flesh crawler from going in and then just detonating with an enormous set of tentacles. But it looks like we're going to get a little tentacle action anyway. This is a good play from blue. You get the boop to make sure Blinky gets connected, cat goes down, Blinky goes down, and all of a sudden... I mean, this flesh crawler is probably going to pay with its life. But it gets things like Stairmaster in range and then the follow-up Blinky to be ready for next turn without having to put too much effort in. So Flesh Crawler goes down. And we get the Hevo follow-up. So at some point, Smother Mother is going to make an appearance in this game, and I don't know when that's happening, because we got 6 keys from our orange player. I wonder if they were trying to get to 9, but then just never did early on? Like they wanted Smother Mother at the start? I don't know. So I was going to say that this was good, but the problem here is this is just a dead Blinky. And I don't even know that that much effort needs to be expended on it. Okay, maybe it did. I was going to say maybe the Djinn Sting could go in and hit the Stairmaster, but apparently not worth it. So blue is banked to 11 keys. I imagine the Smother Mother's coming out now. We get the B-Bros hanging out here. Probably get it. Oh, no. Chat. Oh, no. There's no way Taco saw that coming or they wouldn't have bothered. Because they could have probably just hit the thing with Slammerhead again, or the Murder Wing or something. Bees! Had to give him something at least, I guess, yeah. GG. So the Smother Mother's down here. What level was the Smother Mother? Level 6 Smother Mother. A little Clopster action going. But here's the thing, like, neither of these are really that threatening at this stage. They've now isolated it, so there's a potential that Taco can just, like, reclaim the whole top now. Do we get a takedown on a Stairmaster? And, like, yeah, I don't know, chat. There's a lot of things. We started out with the note that I don't know how I won, and honestly, Taco, I don't know how you could lose this. There were just so many bizarre decisions, literally from the word go, by our blue player that, and I'm not trying to beat up YouTube title, trying to kill Maggie IRL, true. But like, I don't know. So we're gonna get a dead Hematic Djinn Sting here because they're obviously gonna Smother Mother yoink the Djinn Sting. But even then, like, okay, the Clopster's in range. This is a beat-up Erratic. I mean, nothing else can really... You'd have to hit it with these two and take it down, which is likely. And then it's a matter of just dealing with the Smother Mother or avoiding it. So blue player did do this appropriately. Even if they're going to yoink the Djinn Sting, this allows for greater heals. They could have also yoinked the Clopster too, but the Djinn Sting's better. I don't necessarily agree with this. It's a 1200, so it'd be 8. Yeah, like, you could have probably killed this Erratic. I mean, I think you'd get it anyway if you have Meatball alive. And just like that, the Erratic goes down. I think blue loaded in planning... rush, fetch, send to heart, and didn't know how to do anything else. I mean, maybe? Jack just gave me Quagmire cards allowing for an upgrade. Nice, DT. What level's your Jack? Jack, Quagmire. Minotaur might have one, that's true. Jackalope King does have one. But GG. Well done, Taco. Well done. Right after I spawned Quagmire and 8 in game. Yeah, isn't that the... Alright, PorkPork. So, PorkPork leading off with the snowball start. You love to see it. Honestly, I tend to open Stabby on this map, but here's the thing. Part of the reason I don't like Red Rum is it does feel somewhat solved. Like, a lot of people just go for Stabby, right? Now, I've seen some answers to Stabby, and I need to go back and review the games that I played on it, because including my async games, because a few people have had some interesting responses to either Stabby first or even Stabby second. Some of them worked out, some of them have not. But I need to double check whether it's by levels or not, because it could just be that, oh, well, they were over or under leveled, so the response was not good. Again, going back to the game economy stuff. But that matters significantly. Now, we get the snowball into Stabby, speaking of Stabby. I don't know that I like this. This feels super slow. Granted, there was a retreat forced by our orange player, so that's part of the reason. But it's now a 2-to-1 panic point advantage orange, and it's not like PorkPork can come screaming back out of the gates here. I always use Primate on this map. I still want to try Primate, but mine is supremely underleveled. Like, it's a phobie that has to be hitting certain breakpoints, and it just doesn't. It's interesting that PorkPork allowed the jar to take the damage here, because Fireball is up. Well, Fireball would have gotten the jar probably no matter what. 558. Yeah, this is like 5-8. Wow, there's a level 14 snowball. Jesus, what are the notes on this game? This is round 1 of that one guy's tournament. I didn't see that. All right, PorkPork. Get some. We got a real competitive match on our hands, chat. So, yeah, the opener's still a little weird to me, but the positioning on the jar allows it to go heal up, and then, of course, Jar can get right back in the action, even by being in this spot. Now we get a Boomer. For anybody who hasn't seen Boomer yet. Can't be push, pulled, teleported, or swapped. So, what are we going to do here? Because it's Stabby and Unicorn as the follow-up from our orange player. They're going to be able to control the mid pretty well. But this Boomer will tank... It'll tank 2 more hits. However, we'll have to see what PorkPork does. The appropriate thing is put Jar here. Don't put it right here. Alright, that's fine too. I think Jar needed to be up 1 so that... So, like, this is a minor thing, but if Jar's on this spot, yes, it can get hit by this if they advance, kill the Boomer, and then move the Unicorn in, but it's not going to kill it, and it gives you greater control of the center, so you don't have to move it later, but I don't know that it particularly matters. In the end, we're going to get a dead Unicorn anyway, and a follow-up Cyclops, which I keep saying I need to use more. I like Cyclops a lot. What level is your Cyclops, PorkPork? Level 11, over 500 damage. It's a pretty good Cyclops. It's a pretty solid Cyclops. Okay. I was confused for a second because I'm like, aren't both of those going to live? But Jar on the orange side didn't hit the table yet. But we do have panic point advantage going to our blue player, our hero here. And we do get a takedown on the snowball. And this is a good pull because it gets it out of the fire. Granted, it takes more damage. But, of course, you have an eliminated snowball. And you have an in-position Cyclops. So our orange player is going to be under a lot of pressure here. Here's the weird thing. Why did they not Gonzo? Are they going to Gonzo the Stabby? Okay, they Gonzo the Stabby. Which takes down... So you traded Stabby for Snowball. Honestly, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But I imagine we're going to see a dead Stabby here. Can this Jar tank this? Wow. The Jar lives for now. I mean, the Jar is going to die to the opposing Jar. Oh no, it actually still had to move. I thought I had to move into position for a second. PorkPork. Pretty much laying the beat down here. 7 keys remaining for our orange player, but a very strong position for our hero. A very strong position for our hero. And we get a boomer from the other side. I don't know about that one. I mean, it's just an arbitrary 1 key. But it's going to go down all the same, I guess. I don't know. It has enough health that maybe the hope here is that it tanks. We actually get the jar healing twice this game. And a muffin. 474 health left. This is going to heal it up to over 1100. This is pretty good. This match is between people with 10 plus phobies. Yep, exactly, Akune. Very high stress level game. Very high stress level game. We actually get a follow-up Hematic Ginsting. So we got a level 11 versus a level 13 Ginsting. Jesus. This thing is mean. That is mean. Get a little hydrate action from chat. Get a little bees going. You love to see the bees. More bees. The Gesundheit snuck out while I wasn't looking. This is probably a dead jar, right? If they want it. You have to be killing this thing. Is this live? Oh no. 4K. This is bold here. Now, 1525 left on the heart. I have to imagine that PorkPork had something in mind here. I don't really like the idea of the Gesundheit here because it's more of a passive control element. Like, you're not pushing the heart. Alright, orange players saw it coming. So they know that their heart's in danger. But now the panic points have gone towards our orange players, so you're going to have to do this the hard way. Take down the boomer. Get a recap here. And that's a dead Gonzo Bonzo. I don't think there's enough damage to kill this. 1700 health. I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. This was pretty well played, PorkPork. I think you stayed in control of the game the whole time. Like, you put pressure on, and then you didn't take your foot off the gas. So shout out to PorkPork, because obviously this one's in the bag. I think we can kind of do wrap-up thoughts at this stage. So, as mentioned in the notes, this is part of that one guy's tournament, which by the time you're seeing this, it's well long over. But this is pretty cool. I hope PorkPork makes a deep run in this event, because this is well played and definitely a great start. So GG. That was pretty cool. It's fun to see. Yeah, level 14 jar. I'm going up against a couple level 15 jars in async. Next game is Vazy. All right. Get it. Let's get it. Although Vazy hangs out too, so we got it. Mine's only $2.99. Rip, useless. Ah, womp wah. Jar doing 306 damage per hit. Like, these jars get scary. That's why the leveling situation is just, it is what it is, chat. It is what it is. I think the BM is so exceptionally rare that it might not even be worth the effort to do anything. In all seriousness. Like, yes, it happens, and yes, it's frustrating when it does. But, I mean, in the last month, it's maybe been like 3 games, and I've obviously played almost 200 games. The amount of games that it happens in is so low that is it really an important thing for the devs to worry about? I don't know. There are things they could do, for example, if you limit the number of undos per phobie, not entirely throughout the game, or even or turn, but just like put it on a cooldown so that, like, if you want to undo something, you can have 2 undos. Because, like, oh, I moved it to the wrong spot, I'll undo it. Otherwise, it puts it on a cooldown so that, like, you have to do something else, even if it's like a 1-second cooldown, which in Arena could be super impactful also, because it's like, hey, that adds up if you do a bunch of stuff and then undo it and then have to redo it and then have to wait and blah blah blah. But I think the collateral damage for quote unquote regular players is going to be too much. I was going to go play a game, but this is kind of an entertaining game, chat. It basically comes down to, does Smoking Gun have the staff in order to try and police this stuff? Might happen at low frequency, but the player doing it might have a habit of doing it. Honestly, as a streamer, I could truthfully see people just doing it because they recognize my name. And it's like, oh, I bet he's streaming. I'm going to be a dick. It's like, okay. That's what you have to live for? Rats. I don't tend to run into stuff like that a lot, personally, because I'm not that big of a streamer, but... I don't think devs will ever do something because each turn has a fixed duration. It's a 60-second turn, then no matter what you do after 60 seconds, it's done. That's it. That's the point of view of the devs. I don't think that's true. I think it's more of a technical issue. They have acknowledged publicly that they are aware people are BMing, they don't like it, but the reality is that means somebody's going to have to code that stuff. It spreads. I got BM spam the last 2 games now. I'm going to do it the rest of the night. Yeah, that's true, Luffy. It does happen. And there's no counteracting, like, positive GG sort of thing. Like, there's no world in which you can say, even in a game that does allow you to say something like that, that it's not misconstrued as something more inappropriate, we'll say. Mildred just looks fun to use. It is a fun phobie. Has this Mildred only gone off once? Like, why is Vazey not using it? Was this a bait? For how long has how long has BMing been a thing in Phobies? Day 1. I absolutely had people do it to me within the first week, and I'm sure it was being done on day 1. Yeah, for me, Smiley's most effective as a Mildred counter. I can see it. I guess it depends on the map. Because a lot of the time, like, I've beaten plenty of Mildreds and just, like, stay out of range until you can blow it up. Or, like, they go off once, it's like, yeah, they kill one thing, and that's it. I think we know where this game is going at this stage, because that Mildred is not dying. GG. Alright, let's play another one, chat. I was trying to push async games very heavily, and, like, trying to play them more than that, and most of the time I was waiting for people anyway, so I check in the morning, I check in, like, before the stream kind of thing, and that's about all I'm gonna do. If there are times where it's clearly both of us have logged in at the same time, so that means that somebody, I have no idea why they did this, by the way. I'm a little concerned about what they're going to lay down for 5. I forgot what I was going to say. Everybody resets at different times? Okay. I mean, that even reinforces it more, because then no matter what, you're potentially hosing somebody, right? This just gets it off the board so they can't just immediately start recapping stuff. Honestly, I think we needed to bank for Honey Bear, or play Honey Bear on 1. The nerfed Rocket Man horror. I can understand that, Bozo. Honestly, I don't like playing async. Like, I don't find it enjoyable. Like, at all. I only want to play Arena, but I can queue up a bunch of async games and then allow for, you know, the opportunity to do other stuff. So I don't know how we siege this, like, at all. No, game. We're just rearranging things. So this will allow them to splash, but if they put the Gin Sting here, but if they put the Gin Sting here, we can beat up on it. I don't know. Honestly, DT, my experience is nothing changes with async positively. Like, the first turn, the only time that it goes faster is if the person happens to be online at the same time, which is not necessarily likely. Alright, so we can't punish this in the way that I thought we could. We need both of these to connect. No, maybe we don't. Game. Now they can do a bunch of mean, like they can roll Spud up, kill this. Obviously, Murder Wing kills the jar. Or kills the cassowary, rather. We might have been able to do this without losing the jar, I'm not sure. I was just kind of tunnel visioned on that play. I'm a little surprised they need to be on the stim. They can't give me access to that. Especially not if you're expending Meatball. Because even this is doing like 500 damage. We might be able to kill this Spud. We can absolutely kill the... Oh no, we can't reach the Murder Wing. So they can kill this. I don't think they can get the Gin Sting as a result, though. Game, please. So Meatball's down, so they can't reach and kill our Murder Wing. And if they stay, we eat their Murder Wing, one way or another. Problem is then... Oh, Mangles will be in range? I don't know, this is gonna get weird. What I like about Sparky is his animation. He has a lot of character. His idol is him playing with electricity because he's probably bored. His animation when clicked is him holding his fist up. And when he hits something, he looks mad at the phobie that hit him. Yeah, I like how Sparky looks. I love a lot of things about Sparky, but I don't really like Sparky. You can fly away now. And I'd have to pursue with this, which we're not going to do. That means Meatball will be live for next turn. And you can do that. I wouldn't really recommend it, but you can do that. So we could go Clinico. How much is our muffin heal? 600, almost. This puts us out of two-shot range by Bomangles, so they have to hit it more times. So we're going to go with this. I don't really like Clinico, but, you know. On one hand, I try to queue up async games and opponents are likely to be active at the same time as me, but on the other hand, I take my sweet time thinking turns through and stuff, trying stuff out once the game gets complex, so I play async very slowly overall. I think, honestly, my lack of enjoyment with async is completely centered on the fact that I don't care about it. Like, if I was more invested in async, I would probably enjoy it more. Like, I enjoy Arena because I actually pay attention to what's going on. When I play async, I just queue stuff up and do things. Like, I just have no desire to play an async game, like, ever. Because it's so drawn out. Now, putting aside the fact that traps are somewhat ridiculous, like, because you'd have to go back and watch the replay, and, you know, did they do it this turn, or what's the cooldown on it, and then, of course, all the nonsense with the fact that traps don't always, you know, like, the way traps work in this game. What do we want to do here? I don't know how we're going to kill Bomangles. We could walk our own turret up. But I think we kind of need something like this. If this is here, they can hit it with Bomangles for 4, 6. Yeah. It would die. We'll obviously be able to kill this, and then we'll swing this back in, and then they can't reclaim it easily. Yeah, I mean, if people enjoy async, that's fine. I just can't get into it. Like, I don't think I would play Phobies if it was only async, is the way I'd put it. I'm doing async strictly to ensure that I hit the quantity of games. Just because real-life schedule means that I can't play... Like, playing 6 arena games a day is not necessarily feasible, but I can do the one turn here and there spread out through the day for a lot of this stuff. So... I mean, for the longest time, I think I played a couple async games when I first started, but I basically never played async. I only started doing async this season because I wanted to ensure that I hit certain things as far as the, like the quantity of games go. Can we invade and kill this thing? Probably not, right? But that makes this a problem because now we have to back off. Four, 7, 840, 850, 1050. I don't think they can kill it, truthfully. I don't really want to take that chance, though. God damn it! I did it again. Like, this could have been here. Now we're, like, 2 turns behind. I hate it when I do that. Plus, like, this isn't even necessarily good because the combination of these two are going to kill it. This was terrible. This cost us the game, chat. We can't kill this Bowmangles now. God damn it. That's 9. 5 is 14. We literally can't kill it. I've talked about it before, Scrungle. The whole art team has done such a spectacular job. It's incredible. And they've done a fantastic job across the entire game. It's actually really impressive. My strat on Pluto is Bachelor, Moffat, and Stabby. Honestly, I can never seem to get... I can never seem to get 5-cost Phobies and the like onto small maps. Like, it just never seems to come together for me. I don't know why our opponent pulled back, honestly. They didn't need to. They could have absolutely pressed their advantage. I imagine there's a trap on the stem. Look at the Brony idle animation, or any of the ability animations, like the activated ability for Brony or Mildred or any of them. Yeah, Blondie's effect is cool. They all look awesome. Sure. I mean, I don't think that's what you want to do. Six, 12, 18. I mean, we would trade Unbearable for it, so maybe that's fine for them. I don't know how we can win this, chat, truthfully. It's 14, we'll say 15, 16, 17 attacks. If this is here, 8, 9, 10, 11, like, it could die. It's unlikely. I think I counted this up before, and they can't kill this. I think. I could be wrong. Maybe I miscounted it. If I miscounted it, like, we're gonna lose anyway, so... That stem is so trapped. Yeah, I said it before. It's 100% trapped. Well, this is going to be it, chat. This will be the game, one way or the other. Yeah, they're just shy, but... This isn't a scenario where, like, oh, well, if we eliminate this one phobie, we win the game. We're still in terrible shape, even if we're able to do this. I take it back. We might be in okay shape. Now, that being said, like, our heart's taken a beating. Are we dead to heart damage? We're not dead to heart damage yet, but we will be soon. Venus versus the world. Honestly, chat, if we win this game... The only reason I won this game is because their bone mangles and jar were underleveled. That's the only reason I won this game. I played pretty poorly. I could say that I'm in a at a disadvantage. I was trying to say a different sentence and then combine them, but I'm at a disadvantage going second on this map because although it isn't as bad as Phobos, it would appear, going second does hurt. We may have tilted our opponent, chat. Or... I mean, it's possible, Onda. It's possible. Going second always hurts. It does, but not every map is as painful. And I mean, we saw in the earlier games that I played that you can absolutely win going second. Someone's going to need a new phone. They may or may not have thrown it in a toilet. Honestly, we could probably end turn and it would be fine, but I'm doing this just to make sure. There are a couple maps I feel better going second. So, in chess, it's a known thing that going second is worse. In chess, it's known that, like, you were at a disadvantage going second. In Phobies, I have to imagine that it's similar. But the maps could play into that, and that's why I'm very curious if they'll ever make a non-symmetrical map, aka an asymmetrical map. Granted, they have the key differential to try and even it out. But right now, I think Pluto is the worst map in the game. I think Pluto is the worst map in the game because it feels so much worse going second. I have to see, but are there any big maps that have this large of a walk distance to get to the initial points? Because, like, if you look at Opticon or something, yeah, your opponent could get out to a 4-2 panic point advantage, but you can contest them much more readily. I'm trying to figure out, is it just the stim, or is it the panic points, or is it a combination thereof, or what? I don't know. But I truthfully do not like Phobos. I think that map can go the way of the dodo sooner rather than later. My opinion is that going first is always a huge advantage, and the new maps happen to show up around the time when people in general have figured out how to exploit it, but haven't figured out how to play second on those maps since they're new. Probably. I mean, of course, it's still... When did the patch come out? Like 2 weeks ago? So, of course, we're still looking at a very young lifespan as far as those maps go. That being said, it definitely feels like there are two things in play here, and then we'll jump into this replay. It definitely feels as that there are two challenges with those maps. One, exactly what DT's pointing out. It's easier going first than going second, and people haven't figured it out. Two, it seems to exploit collections way more than other maps. Now, we've talked about before, like Xylo and things like that, where if you don't have flyers, or this may sting a bit, may sting a little, I can never remember which it's called. Those are problematic if you don't have flyers, but it's just... Phobos feels worse. Maybe someone will figure it out, or maybe it is like a stress unlock thing, or I don't know. I honestly haven't put that much thought into it. It's basically just been, I'll get there when I get there kind of thing. I'll figure it out eventually, like more organically. I want to get back to putting more effort into actually doing the strategy stuff like we started out doing. But the game reviews have eaten up a lot of time. Now that I'm capping those per week, I'm hoping that we have a lot more time to do more map breakdowns, more assessment, more analysis, that sort of thing. But regardless, let's get into this game where our hero, sgrunkly, is zoning into Mysomania in the blue trunks. Now, the opening here from Grunkly, I'm a little confused by, putting the cat here. I mean, you could always send a 1 key up here afterwards. I guess it doesn't, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other because you're only getting this initially. You're not going to be able to... Alright, this makes sense. Getting the jar up here because, as we've seen, the jar can threaten the heart across the top. And we actually get usage of this bottom vault hole, which I was a little surprised by. I honestly, we talked about this yesterday, I totally forgot that even existed. The cat is just going to take the point later. You mean now? The thing is, you could have gotten that panic point on 1 and gotten an extra, like, 1 extra turn of damage. Is that really going to matter? I don't know. Yeah, this is a replay on it. I have run into a lot more stream viewers and YouTube viewers and things like that. Which, by the way, if you're seeing this on YouTube, come by the live stream, RTChompGG over on Twitch, or hit up the Discord. It's in the description. And, you know, they've gone both ways, I guess. Like, I've won some, I've lost some. But it's fun recognizing the names. Like I said, I still wish there was a feature in order to calculate or track your stats against individuals. So, it looks like our orange player has no interest in fighting the jar. The Gesundheit, I don't understand here. Like, what is the purpose of this Gesundheit? And now that the jar is snuck up here, that means that this gets blocked off and they can't get to it any longer. You're going to have to go with a flyer. I mean, hypothetically, they could have gone flyer plus jar, but a big flyer is probably going to have to be the answer. Because as we pointed out the other night, this is, you know, over a panic point per attack. So right now, it's not a 3-2, it's like a 5-2 advantage, because this jar is just going to be laying into the heart. You do have extra health, but it adds up. People just use Gesundheit no matter what. I mean, here it makes no sense. There is no way this Gesundheit is ever going to kill this jar. If that's the plan, I'm sorry, it's just not happening. But with this positioning, our blue player's in a great spot. They can just sit, you know, like... Yes, orange has tried to do the same thing, but they are more prepared. This Klepto is going to swing in. It'll be on a healing spa, so it's not going to get dislodged easily. And we finally see something that could be an answer, and that is Mount Crushmore, who it's actually fine that it's sitting on lava, because it's going to heal off of the healing spa up here. Orange put their lobber on the wrong side. Which one? The jar you're talking about, or the Crushmore? Get a little more pot shot action going down. We got a lot of lobbers on our blue player side. Oh, the Evo? I mean, the Evo could have gone north, too. I guess the idea here is that Blue wanted to try and swing and match the aggression. You know, like, get the Evo down here in order to try and do something. I don't know. Or the Evo could just be here in order to beat up the center. Since our orange player didn't break this block initially, like we saw sgrunkly do, that means that they're not going to be able to just send a 1 key in immediately. They're either going to have to send something that's already here or risk something else happening. What? Okay. It was just the sequence that happened in, because they didn't move attack, then move attack. They put everything in and then attack. And I was like, are you just moving this stuff in? It's all going to die. The Evo just controls the center most of the time. It does, but there's a huge life lead at this point as a result of those attacks. You know, it's about half health. There's still plenty of time. But it's not as though our hero here is in a terrible position as far as this goes. Although I don't necessarily agree with this. Taking down Fetch is good. Okay, there we go. We got a follow-up. So the follow-up had to be here. Although this is not going to be enough to kill this. Oh, you have 6 more keys still. Blue player banked a lot. This is actually really good. This worked out very well. Get the double takedown here. I was concerned because the Klepto's in range of the jar. But even if the Klepto were to go down, which it won't, that was still a good exchange. That was still a key positive exchange, and it was definitely pretty solid. And we see the sheep futilely charging into battle. It's just not going to do anything. Not anything valuable, anyway. Now, since the Crushmore vacated, the jar can go back to shelling the heart, and you body block with, say, the Gravedigger. We'll see if that happens. Klepto's just... Yeah, the Klepto's keeping warm for the winter season. It's flying south. Yeah, so we do get the Gravedigger block up here. Not quite enough damage in order to kill the jar, but we do get a takedown on the sheep, which is important. And we get the Temptress follow-up. At this point, the game was over probably on... Okay. Wow, this goes on for another... Why does this game go on so much longer? It's 8 keys to 8 keys. Our orange player, or excuse me, our blue player was able to trade key positive for a huge amount across multiple turns. You lose the Klepto in this exchange, but I guess that's fine. I think that's still okay. I don't know whether this game is arena or async, but in async, sometimes I figure out my whole turn, then do everything in a weird order just to mess with people who actually watch the replays. So, one thing that is valuable that could have been what our orange player was doing on that turn is if you move everything into position, like you know that you're going to do something in this combination, you get into position, it allows you to undo faster. So that way it's like, okay, I move everything in, then I hit, undo, and then change the ordering, especially if like there's a dimensional and you want certain things pulled or you're not sure how the math works out, just do it real quick, as opposed to undoing 6 things and then having to wait for all of the animations to go through, especially if they have a slow walk animation or something. I don't know that that's what was happening, but... So we get the snipe on the jar, which probably didn't need to happen. So this is why this game went on so much longer, because it seemed like our blue player was in a very much commanding position, but we're down to 3 keys remaining, and it's like Hevo, Gravedigger, Spud, and something else against the rest of the team. Get some damage going down on Hevo. But you gotta get a retreat. I don't know how our blue player kills Barzilla. Is it even possible? Unfortunately, that's a dead spud, I think. That's a big consideration, too, for me in Arena, since I use so many Phobies with the slowest possible animations. Yeah. It's weird that, honestly, the animation speed does play in. Kentucky Fried Murder Wing. Unfortunately... Oh, no. 14 health. Not like this. Not like this. Bunch of damage going down on the Hevo. I suspect this is a dead Hevo soon. I suspect this is a dead Hevo soon. Do you get the challenge play here? This is a pretty good play. Able to pull everything in. Now it's Barzilla against these three, but... Actually, only the Bow Mangles is going to die this turn. If only our blue player had panic point advantage right now. Interesting, okay. Okay, I can respect it. I can respect it. I think going for heart or panic point advantage is probably the only way that... Like, you can't man-fight the Barzilla, right? Whoa, what level is this Barzilla? Oh, it's only a level 5. I don't know why, the 3100 just looked weird to me for a second. So yeah, you go and back cap these panic points, you have way more mobility. How much was the Hevo at? I don't know that I would have healed it again here. I probably would have moved it. Tried to get it onto, like, this healing spa. Like, if you moved it here, you get hit by Barzilla, you could walk it up or just, like, run away. I guess this is fine because the Barzilla is always going to be able to chase you. So now we have panic point advantage blue, and we're back to how does orange win this game. Honestly, if I could watch these replays with... if I could watch the replays with the health bars up all the time, this would be way easier. Because I don't want to pause and break the flow of the game to constantly check the health. But there's things that I'm missing, and I'm going to have to go back to doing that. Let me know, chat, if you'd rather if I pause stuff and check the health constantly, rather than be surprised, we'll say, when certain things live or die. Or anybody on YouTube, let me know in the comments. But yeah, this stage should be able to burn down the heart. I never realized that this is how the animation works for Barzilla. That's pretty funny. Of course, the health bar won't go away now. Third, actually, this Barzilla may be able to burn it down. That's still a lot of health left on this heart. I thought it was less. It's okay to pause the replay, checking the stats. All right. I mean, we could count this up. Somebody can do the math. 112 fire damage versus a 225 health healing spot. This is annoying that it keeps resetting to look at the heart. I mean, at this point, 33, 22. Only 3 more turns of watching this happen, chat. And watching the game snap to the blue heart, which is obnoxious. This should be... Like, if you don't kill it this turn, you're probably dead, right? Yeah. That should be the ball game. That should be the ball game. GG. Shout out to sgrunkly for submitting a loss. We don't get too many of those because everybody always wants their highlights, but it's always appreciated when people put themselves out there like this. This was a pretty cool game. I think there were actually... I want to go back and look at this, because there were several turns where our blue player was ahead by so much, it felt like. So, like, this fetch does almost nothing, right? The whole game. I'm trying to see where things go wrong, basically, is what it amounts to. I think the loss of the jar was big. I want to look for that turn, because that didn't need to happen. I don't know if sgrunkly has Muffin, but clearly a Muffin could have helped this this Klepto not have to sacrifice itself through the course of these turns. Because this is the turn... Yeah, this only has 100 health. 8 keys banked. So, like, a Clinico or something just to keep the Klepto alive would have been nice. Either a Klepto or a Muffin. However, even with the loss of the Klepto, this still seems like a hugely advantageous position. It's 3 Phobies and 8 keys versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Well, 7, but... Pending whether the Klepto... Oh, no, you're maxed out, so you wouldn't have been able to heal at this anyway. Never mind. So you couldn't have done the play that you had before. So the Klepto, unfortunately, has to die here. Because there's 7 Phobies out. So the Klepto goes down, but ultimately, like, it was cheap and jar, and then fetch and Gin Sting for all of that. Yes, a Cassowary went down too, I think, but big swing right now. So, wait, we'll go 1 turn up. So it's 6, 10, 12, 13, 14. 5, 9, 13, 16, 17. So maybe it's not as huge as I was thinking, but you are at a key advantage. The key here, not to... be redundant, but since Barzilla's on the board, you'd have to collapse all of your forces or represent a big threat that hasn't hit the board yet in order to ensure that Barzilla dies. So basically the game plan here has to be pick off the rest of their stuff. Like, you pick off everything else, isolate the Barzilla, which is easier said than done. I think this break is fine. But this is the part that hurts, is the Murder Wing just coming in and sniping the jar. If the jar was there late in the game, this game goes way differently. The pot shot on the Murder Wing, I kind of understand it. And I guess ultimately you trade jar for Murder Wing, but you don't... Since they have a big dummy in Barzilla, I think you don't want to reduce the board to whatever you have versus their big dummy. Unless it's your whole team versus their big dummy. So trading here is not in your interest. And then ultimately, like, this erases the key advantage, I think. 10, 13, 16, 18, 20. 5, 9, 13... 16, 17. I mean, you're going to... Yeah, it ends up being 20 to 20 here. But then this spider ends up dying, too. This was big. So you're -5 keys now. And that was, like, your only way to make something happen here, I think. So the spider positioning, it needed to be better, obviously. I don't think sacrificing the jar was worth it. I mean, you could have actually, on the jar turn... I don't know why I'm obsessing about this so much, but... So the jar was here. You could hit it with a regular jar hit. Walk it back, roll the spud up, hit it with the spud, and probably be in roughly the same... spot. Because these are... How much are the stems? You actually would have done more damage that way. If you were going to end up in this board state. And then obviously the Murder Wing wouldn't be dead, but it didn't die anyway. And it also wouldn't have... your jar would have survived. I mean, this was a pretty good series of plays in order to try and pull it back. Like, I think this was a solid observation to make all this stuff happen. But we know how the rest of this plays out. I think it was really just those 2 turns which ended up handing back and then some all of the advantages that were gained, which is something that I am well versed in. I've done that many times. All right, later, Taco. Have fun. But shout out to sgrunkly for submitting that. Like I said, not many people submit losses. It's always good when people do because it's important to examine those. All right, we got 2 more game replays, but I want to play a game, chat. I did do a lot of panicking. I think at the same time I placed the jar there, I thought they wouldn't Murder Wing or just ignore it. That's fair. That's reasonable. I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. In that spot, it's tough to see. I think if either of those 2 late-game mistakes don't happen, either the jar stays alive or the spider, you're still in good shape. I think you really need both, though. Like, it's still a winnable position, as we saw. You almost pulled it back anyway. And the game would have been completely different because they would have pulled the Murder Wing back, most likely. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not clear to me that if you change those lines that you definitely win the game. But clearly you're in a better position. If both survive, I think you win the game. Because I think you were up on a positioning and tempo side of things in a way that your opponent would have to do something uncomfortable in order to win the game, or they would need to set up like a weird Crushmore play that's difficult to predict, as in, you know, they slide in with the Crushmore, break a block that frees up Barzilla to hit something that it wouldn't have been able to, and everything goes south from there, that sort of thing. Then the Hevo, but it's less damage than the Boo Fairy. I don't know, it would have been close. I think my Snap Judgment was the thing on the hard spot, was a low damage phobia, so I wouldn't have felt threatened despite their effort. The thing is that Hevo really isn't, like, yes, it's low damage comparatively, but, again, levels are all that matter at this stage in the game. Like, Hevo is a threat, even offensively, because you just have a high-level Hevo. Like, it's that simple. Or you can have a high-level Hevo, that is. I have no idea why our opponent opened Microscopic. So I'm not going the Gravedigger play because we don't have to here. It might be worth it to do it anyway. Like, break this, send it up here. We can still control the mid because they open Microscopic. In retrospect, that was probably the better play. This is annoying. But, like, yeah, it doesn't get them anything other than a dead cat. This is not what you want to do. I'm gonna kill that thing. Alright, Azumi's, have a good night. Or day, wherever you are in the world. Take it easy. Speaking of Hevo... Do we just lose everything here? Excuse me. This kills this. This kills this. Something pops out and kills this. Like, I think we just lose literally everything there. It's unfortunate that I can't contest that, but, I mean, that's the point of the Hevo, right? So unfortunately we give up the mid, but we will have panic point advantage for the most part. Unfortunately the cat can swing down here and Contortio isn't going to be enough to kill. Oh no, it will. Contortio will be big enough to kill this. So we can cap this point and not worry about it. They could swing the cat up here. Clearly we remove it. Well, maybe not clearly. Yeah, we can remove it without too much difficulty. That's a low-level Hevo 7, maybe? This is a level 7 Hevo. On the dot, Onda. So I'll be honest with you, chat. Despite how the games have gone this weekend, I've had a lot more fun. Like, I'm enjoying playing Phobies. I don't want to say it's more fun than doing the game reviews, because those are fun as well. And you know, if you want to get your games reviewed, hit up the Random Slots Discord. You know the deal by now. It's in the description. But, I don't know. It was nice to play the game. It's weird to say that. I play it offline, but, you know, it's nice to play it on stream, too. I don't know what the hell our opponent's doing. Like, what is going on here? I think this is another game where if we win, we're winning by levels, truthfully, chat. Alright, so they went Spider also. So if they go here and pull it to here, they can hit it. So we need to be farther back. We will be able to cap this point down here. They're 3 damage short of killing our Contortio. That's gotta feel bad. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. Kind of want to go with this. Yeah, Microscopic was a turn 1 play. Microscopic plus cat. It's a thing you can do. I don't necessarily feel that I agree with it, but it is absolutely a play that can be made. Alright, so they're electing to take the Microscopic out of range of everything, which is fine with me. It means that we could be more aggressive. Possibly, anyway. We have a Manta Ray, a Ray Chargels. I'm not super thrilled with our position. I just don't know how we yoink anything for value. We don't quite have enough damage to kill anything. What? Yeah, that can't... There's no world in which that's what you want to do. So if we move this up, it gets yoinked and dies. If we move this here, yoink, it's going to end up there. I think it probably ends up on this spot, right? No, it goes up. There's no way we have enough damage for this. Still has 1,000 health. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can't get anything into range yet. So I think what we do is we get Rambolina online. They could yoink the spider to here, and then hit it with this, this, and this. So if we put the spider here, they still get it into the same spot. I don't think we want the Rambo there either, actually. But the Rambo has more health. I don't think they can kill it without the help of the stim. Like, they're just not going to have enough damage. Plus, they're hell-bent on murdering my Contortio for some reason. My entertainment is trying to figure out what quests they have. That's not unlikely that that's what's happening here, chat. I don't think I even looked at my quests today. Unless chat reminds me, I don't really ever look at my quests. Oh my god. I wasn't thinking. So we lose the snowball for no reason. I'm busy looking at chat, talking about quests and stuff, and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I mean, we could probably kill their spider in retaliation mostly for free, but the Hevo's here now, and that's dangerous. Oh, Hevo boop Miss Moffat. That's what I'm thinking, but the problem is... another Charon. Or not. Like, if we boop here, it's gonna die. Losing that snowball was actually a big, like, a really big deal. Son of a... I'm pretty angry with myself now, chat. I'm just upset. So they can come in, but can't... Well, they can fly over here and kill the Inoculus. And then we kill their Ray Chargels. We can move up here and boop, but again, that's gonna invite disaster. I think we just lose the Inoculus here. Man, losing that fireball was such a stupid mistake. Just got the Doomsday 2 during the stream. Nice, grats, bozo. Moving up. Climbing that ladder. Castaway can block for the boop, but I think Rambo dies. There was no, like, I could have... Like, there were boops there, but I didn't think there was a purpose to it, because it's like... Okay, I'll boop. What good does that do me? Oh, this actually won't kill it. This must be a low level... Oh, it's a level 7 Ray Chargels, and it still can't kill this. Wow. That's also going to be a dead Ray Chargels momentarily. I just kind of assumed this would one-shot it. Yeah, you have to be up here, because otherwise we get it. So with the pull down, our boop options are severely limited. And we're also down 5-1 panic points. Granted, we haven't taken any damage yet, so we have a little bit of time, but not much. That's a Hydra. You got it. This is still full health because we never got around to actually hitting it. Which means we're in a world of danger here, chat. And we're actually in really bad shape. This just means they can't recap this point this turn. If they're going to chase the cassowary and try and actually kill it, I want to punish them for it. And we have to make that happen somehow. Excuse me. So if they kill this, they'll get pulled in. They can't get to us with the fetch. They're going for the heart, they might. I have an extra key, so I can crush more to open that up. But yeah, I figured they were going to do this. They're going to send Ray up there. Because they want to cap that point and be a big advantage there. This is better for them, the positioning. So the difference here is I can boop them away and be like, you can't get to the stem this turn. Or I could just kill them. So we move, we pull. No, that won't work because we need it to end up here. You end up here. I think we still have to go for this, but... Oh my god, why does it do this? We'll stem the bleeding. I mean, they're going to get that top panic point shortly, so... I think I'm going to want to open this up. They have 11 keys. I didn't realize they were banking this whole time. Almost beat Ganon. Oh, I was like, wait a minute, who's Ganon? And then I realized you said before you were going to play some Nintendo. I was very confused momentarily there, Taco. Like, you playing Breath of the Wild or what one? I haven't played a Zelda game in years. This one's gonna, of course it's beauty. This one's gonna put me in the doghouse, but I actually don't like Legend of Zelda. Like, I played them. I played almost all of them. I stopped with Wind Waker. And I just realized I'm just not into the formula anymore. So if we don't occupy the stem, they're going to, and then we're in deep doo-doo. So Rambo is gonna die as a result of this. This dies and Rambo dies, and we accomplish, like, nothing. I don't know that we have a choice. We're gonna run out of time. God damn it. Through this game. Through this game. Because now we're, like, way out of position with everything, and we're gonna, like, we can't even retaliate in the way that I would have been able to earlier. So, like, we whiffed a hit here. This was not in position. This is now on the heart. Just doing stupid things. Game. Nothing like making the game exceptionally difficult for yourself, chat. There's nothing quite like it. Wait, does Crushmore die here? Crushmore should not get booped into the abyss. If it does, I'm gonna be super annoyed. Wish we got stats that some games give, like number of kills Jar Cannon's gotten the turn it was summoned. That would be pretty cool. No, there's no space behind it. I don't think this is a valid occupiable spot. Oh, it has to be, right? No, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I was trying to think of the other opener and, like, how that would work. There is a space. Yeah, that... I wasn't sure, but since there is... We might be able to kill Beauty this turn. I don't know. Yeah, I was clicking on the units. Like, it looks like there's a space, but I can't quite tell. I mean, ultimately, it's safe. They're not going to do it. Now, imagine if that turn that I backed everything off, if we had left everything in place. We'd be in a much better position. We can't go there because it should boop it directly into the pit. I think we have to leave Crushmore here, because if we don't, then this comes back in. I mean, it can come back in anyway, but at least we have some damage on it, right? Wow, they're going for Jar? Like, you know I can target this, right? Yeah, Beauty died. It was a relatively low-level Beauty, I think. No, it's a level 9, never mind. I don't know, Chad. I don't know that we can win this, because we can't kill this. Like, we gotta kill the fetch next. We have to kill the fetch. But the problem is they're gonna recap 2 panic points next turn. We can only get 1, realistically. Yeah, this is the better play, I think. Giga Chad Flopsy taking down the Beauty, yep. Like, that has to happen, I think. Nope, we don't want to do that. How much does this do? 800, so we just can't be within 1 space. So they could flip 1 panic point, but they have no more clock on the heart. This is problematic. We actually die if we... Whoop. I don't want to undo. I want to click on this. We die if we stay in range, because these 2 will kill us. But this means they can't take this panic point. I don't want to... If I walk away and try and get this Clinico, we risk this thing running to the heart, which would be bad. At this point, I don't... Like, we'll get them eventually. It's just going to take a while. The old classic Clinico and Hydra, was that ever classic? That would be news to me. But the Clinico's damaged, so we'll get it at some stage. Like, yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of. But the Hydra's going to take too long to get into range, so we just kill this. I actually have an idea. Okay, my idea still might work. My idea still might work. If I'm able to do it, I'll tell you when it happens, chat. Never mind. We're probably not going to be able to. I think we're just going to end up killing this thing. No. We're probably going to have to. There's an argument to let it walk over here and then just yoink it into the pit with the spider. But I have a funnier idea. Denied! Pull Hydra into the void. Like, that's the correct thing to do, but this is funnier. They can try and break through this obstacle, but not in time. Access denied. Put this on lockdown. What's funny is this is still in range of the Crushmore. Oh, I thought they just straight up disconnected. Bees! Chat. I love Phobies. I love Phobies, chat. So we got another high-level game. This is Claws going first on Phobos against Gamer 24/7. Which, by the way, I do love the Temptress avatar. So shout out to Gamer. Love to see it. Temptress is... Okay, Temptress might be one of my favorite Phobies. Because even when I was a kid, I always loved snakes. And reptiles of all different kinds. But snakes were always my favorite as a kid. Like, the king cobra was my favorite animal on the face of the earth. Of living animals. Like, obviously, dinosaurs and stuff are up there too. But, you know. But the fact that Temptress sucks in this game drives me insane. Flopsy taking down the Beauty and Crushmore doing a little trolling. I mean, it isn't really trolling. Like, that was a valid play. It's just funnier that way. The turn one microscopic, honestly, like, given the way that game played out, I'm not giving this game justice. Given the way that game played out, if they had opened a more standard opener, they'd probably win. I think they did everything else relatively fine. Well, maybe not. The Hydra was weird. But anyway. So, we get speaking of standard openers, we'll get back to this game review. Our heroes in the orange trunks this time. Although we've had a number of Claws games, Claws has been our hero sometimes as well. We're getting the standard player 2 option. Now, Quagmire, I actually really like here. Comes out quicker than Alligator, is able to tank hits off of this. Like, yes, this is a lot of damage, but it's still almost 2k health, and it's going to be higher soon. But the follow-up is Hevo 2.0. Hold on, did Gamer leave us any notes? Starting second on Phobos with Claws is stressful, but turn one helped me clear 13 keys off the board. Oh, but one turn helped me clear 13 keys off the board. Okay, so it sounds like Gamer might have caught Claws asleep at the wheel on one turn. We'll have to see. This was submitted by Gamer. Whenever I say that's our hero in the game, that's whoever submitted the game. The bad guy is always the opponent. We get a takedown of this cassowary. Reasonable. I doubt this Hevo can kill either of these, so that's 2 keys off the board. Well, is Fireball back up? Fireball's not up. You could, like, trade the Snowball, but... So you're still going to end up down 2 keys, ultimately. Because this is clearly dead. The Quagmire will get it. You're only up 1 panic point as the blue player, and... Orange player is not in a terrible position. That being said, there is a Hematic Ginsting that came out to play, and that's kind of scary. It's a little scary. But Gamer is electing to tank it. They must have done the math here. And we get a Rambolina. So we could get the long-range boop. I don't know how much that would actually have helped, though. Get a little bees action going down. We do get the long-range boop to push, which puts this Hevo... Oh, no. Is this the turn? No, it's probably not this turn. You might be able to get the Hevo. 2100... Oh, no. There's no shot. Never mind. We'll say 1,000, 2,000, 25? Yeah, it's unlikely. Because I'm rounding up for a lot of this, saying that it's 500. But a lot, like, this is under 5, this is under 5. I think this was under 5, so... Okay, so I'm starting to see the beginnings of why this was a... Why this ended up being 13 keys get incinerated in a turn. Are we... Chat, get your clip buttons ready. Question, how many 1 to 2 keys would equal the max for a large map? Well, do you mean how many phobies? Because you have 7 phobies, unless you're asking how many should you go before you stop getting 1 keys. I'm not sure what you mean, Forgo. Hyper's game against Rarity is really good. You watched the replay we did earlier, Bozo? So we get an invade down here. Or a collapse, if you will. But it's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. Oh, no. Chat, this is the turn. I mean, this is the last turn, so we know it. Chat. Oh my god. We need to look at this again. Somebody clip this. So we got on the Hold on, we'll go back to the previous turn. Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm calling it out at the beginning. Somebody's got to clip this one for me. I'm going to go through it in a second. I'm going to pause on the turn, and then that way people can get ready. Alright, here we are. Gamer versus Claws, and this play is bonkers. We got an invade on the previous turn from Claws to put a ton of damage on Quagmire, but damaging things isn't enough. And this Rambolina says, you hurt my friend, now I have to hurt you. Bye-bye, Hematic Ginsting. We get a boop into the Hevo 2.0, which leads to a huge amount of damage going down on it. But wait, there's more. We get a second boop, the Chain Boops, into the Fireball from Snowball, and that leads into GG, folks. Ball game. That's a good one. That's a good, like... That's a Galaxy Brain play, chat. My throat's getting so dry. My throat's getting so dry. That's a Galaxy Brain play, chat. Like, that's bonkers. Shout out, gamer. And, somebody get some ointment for Claws. That one's gonna sting. GG. Any notes here? The classic Motherload setup. So we get, from our hero in the blue trunk, SilverK, a slight variation on the typical Phobos opener. And we're getting a lot of replays on Phobos, but we get Murder Wing into Cap. Gravedigger, I don't... Or K. Like, what am I missing here? Why is this happening? I understand the Gravedigger on 1. We've talked about this a lot. What is our bad guy doing here? Oh, you would just need to count up all the 1 keys then, Forgo. I misunderstood your question earlier. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This does nothing. Like, you break this block and you get a straight run for a 3-move Phobie, but it takes the same number of moves. Like, 8 versus 9 moves is not any different. We do get an innocuous follow-up and a 1-drop. But I am just... perplexed. Oh, we get an oopsie baby, chat. I didn't realize SilverK was that high of a stress level. I don't pay attention to these things. But at this point, look at this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panic points blue. I mean, that's a dead cassowary. I don't know if that's worth trading for the Bachelor, but okay. Honestly, this cowbell was safe, even if the Bachelor went in. Like, there was no need to kill it with that cassowary. But in fact, we do see a cat assassination by the murder wing up the top. Temptress follow-up. You just got to level 60? Nice. So is this the first game with Oopsie Baby? Because I think that's a 60 reward, right? Let's get a little damage going down on the Gravedigger. 1, 2. You can't quite reach it with the Oopsie Baby yet. And of course, you can't inch it up any further because you risk the Temptress going up and lighting it up. So panic points are now swapping back to the bad guys team. Like, this position isn't great for our blue player at this point. Despite the somewhat bizarre opener from our orange player, like, they're not in a terrible position here. If you can blow up the Temptress, you might be okay. The reason I say that is that way you can inch up the Oopsie Baby and try and control the board in the same way that an Oculus does. We get the power down, which hasn't completed yet. And as we learned in an earlier game, it will decrease the electrical damage that gets done. And we get an Octonaughty to match pulls. The Temptress isn't really a threat, but this is... I like this play from our bad guy, blocking it off here. I don't know about this one, though. The spider... Okay, the spider's moving. I was going to say, you can't leave that there. That spider's dead. Or likely dead, anyway. I was about to say, I'd imagine this murder wing goes and tries to shoo away the snowball. And we're just inching up here. There isn't really much that our bad guy can do to advance. And they have a panic point advantage. They're probably just waiting to push that. Oh, we get a droney. So that's interesting. It seems like our blue player's obviously concerned for their life. This map can absolutely spiral out of control and you just suddenly are taking a ton of heart damage. I like seeing Octonaughty's face turn green. It is pretty cool. The idle animations, I mean, I keep repeating it, but everything in the art in this game is spectacular. So are we going to get an Octonaughty pull here? Because if Octonaughty goes in, it probably dies in return. We get a Fire Ant. Oh, baby. Is Oopsie Baby's power down is not ready yet, which means that now Temptress is back online. So, in fact, we do not get a defensive play. We get an offensive one. We get the yoink. Dead Temptress. Makes sense. But that Fire Ant is very scary. Is Fire Ant's base attack AoE? No, just the trap. And we get a mother load. So this is what we were told at the beginning of the game from the notes. What do we got here? Alright, a little takedown action. I don't know if that's the way I would have done it, but sure. So we get the counter yoink. This isn't going to be a lot of damage, is it? Well, I guess the Murder Wing could still get in on the action, so this is probably a dead Octonaughty. And dead from the fire as well. And we get a Finnegan follow-up. This is still looking... Oh, no. Chat. Chat. Did our bad guy just make an enormous boo-boo? Anybody out there a Scrubs fan? You know the episode where JD has an opera singer that's following him around, and then at one point, at the end of the episode, JD screws up for the 8th time, and every time the opera singer shows up, he sings Mistake in an operatic voice. I'm not going to emulate it. Go look it up. Scrubs Mistake. I'm confident you'll find it. That's what comes to mind here. This may be another clip-worthy one. Because we see Motherload go in, we see the Motherload ability, and kaboom, baby! We even get it out of the fire as a result. We're going to get a takedown on Gravedigger. We're going to get an additional stim into bees on the stim, which is a dead spider, a dead murderwing, a dead Finnegan.
No!
Chat, this turn was bonkers. Somebody clip that. Chat. We have 2 candidates for our highlight reel so that guy is mad. Like, that was a mistake. It was not worth... You needed something on the stim. That's brutal. This erratic is not going to get the job done against this. Like, this can just walk away if it wants. They elected to kill the Jin Sting anyway. The panic points are even. Both players are out of keys. The stim is still available? And I don't think there can be a trap, because I think we've seen attacks from Fire Ant every time. So, like, even that's not a possibility. Wow. Chat. This is pretty busted. I guess technically our bad guy is not out of it. You know, if SilverK just walks their whole team into erratic, maybe, but let's be real. Let's be real. How fast is the cooldown on this? Wait, is this cooldown back up? The cooldown's back already. Obviously, Muffin does what Muffin does. And at this point, yeah, I would say just go for the heart. I don't even know that that was necessary, because I think this Oopsie Baby will die. It should, but it doesn't matter, because if the bad guy wastes time killing the Oopsie Baby, I mean, they're never going to get to this anyway. Muffin doing its job and capping points, yep. There's no way for them to get to this. You kill the Oopsie Baby and that's it. Ball game, folks. Well played, Silver. That was pretty cool, chat. I think we have 2 strong candidates for our upcoming highlight reel. Got to get a few more, but that was pretty cool. You always got to be careful with the dimensional phobies. Honestly, I still am of the opinion that dimensional phobies might be the best phobie species because of the damage they put out, but the pull often feels like a drawback more often than it is an advantage. Not always, but frequently. Frequently. I don't know. That was pretty cool, though, chat. That was pretty cool. So we're just going to close up shop, chat. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said. Probably starting early. We'll play it by ear. But as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.